Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 211. Iliya here, and you know what we're going to be doing in this video, having a look at the market, how it developed this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly what we can expect for the upcoming week. Now you know that this week was full with news and it was, as usual, hard to navigate. September has been like this, very tricky, very tough to trade. Luckily, I managed to finish at very small profits. It was very tough, took a couple of losses, then of course the win brought it back, then again a couple of losses, some break-evens. I did learn some very important lessons that I'm gonna share with you guys in this video, because I did take a lot of trades this week on... Yeah, I didn't trade much EU, but I did trade a lot of GU, I did trade US30, NASDAQ, and some other stuff, so I'm gonna show you everything that I did, so hope you're excited for that. Now, this channel is all about trading. I share these weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I'm going to be giving my best to be sharing an educational piece of content or a trading setups breakdown video, so that I actually do the breakdowns separately and not really do them on the weekly outlook in order to keep it shorter. So of course, if you want to see that, make sure that you are subscribed and turn on the notification bell so you not miss when those videos come out. And without further ado, let's get into the markets because we have a lot to cover. Alright, as usual, we're gonna get started with a Dixie to have a look at how the dollar is performing so that we can potentially judge what could happen on all the USD pairs. And in this video, I decided to keep some of the old drawings here on the chart so that we can actually track how the market looked like and how our overall big macro liquidity targets are being reached, and of course try to see if actually the analysis is playing out. But I really hope if you have been following the weekly outlooks for quite some time that you actually see that the analysis is playing out nicely. Now, before we jump into the analysis, of course, it's very important that we have a quick look at the news. Okay, so for next week, we see that we don't have anything on Monday. We don't have anything on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, we have just an Aussie news. And then on Thursday, we have like CPI for Germany and the GDP for the US. That is pretty much a very big highlight right there on Thursday. We have Mr. Powell speaking together with a GDP. And then on Friday, we do have like GDP for the pound. Then we have... harmonized index of consumer prices right there for the euro, and then we have this personal consumption expenditures. But the thing that I want to say is that we don't have anything that is like really big apart from Thursday's GDP and Mr. Powell speaking very late during the night, which is very good because by that time we should have finished trading, right? So it looks pretty good, and pretty much my strategy for coming into this week, into the upcoming week, is to really focus, because my September is losing so far. I didn't perform very well in September and it has been tricky actually, and hopefully try to bring it back. So of course, let's see, I'm either gonna lose more and close in a nice losing month, or I'm gonna win it and get back on profit. So let's see. DXY, what we have is another kind of a pretty similar week. If you actually have a look at it, at the previous weekly candle, this weekly candle looks like it's just cloned, right? Is it cloned? No, it's not. It's brand new. Like you can see, it looks actually quite the same. We again made this wick down, we filled in imbalance and we pushed up. And where are we currently reaching for? I really do believe it is this weekly high right there. So you can see the market broke that weekly high right there, closed with a body, and is just throwing wick pullbacks to the downside. And when you see this kind of price action, well, you can potentially presume that the market is not going to be taking liquidity above this high and then potentially start pulling back down. It is seeking something else, and I do think it's this one. So when is it going to get reached? Well, I do think maybe this week, because we're getting very close to it. Now, if we go to the daily time frame, this is how our analysis looked like last week. So we had this daily push, daily pullback, higher low, filling in the imbalance to the left, so we can already delete this. Then we pushed up. We did have daily imbalance right there, but I have probably drawn the 4-hourly time frame and also 4-hourly higher low formation right there together with the daily higher low. We pushed, we pulled back, and what are we doing right now is we're making a brand new daily structure break right there, which makes this our daily low to this our daily high. Now, the daily time frame is absolutely bullish, nothing much to say. It looks also pretty balanced. There is a little bit of imbalance that was formed exactly right there. So let's go and explore it on the voyage. Now, well, on the voyage, there is that kind of wick right there, and TradingView hasn't fixed it, so I'm not really sure what this looks like right there and if it's actually existent, right? But what we can see, the development actually of last week was the following: 4-hourly low, 4-hourly high. The daily low was here, the 4-hourly low was there, push, pullback, But again, it took a lot of time, right? We opened on Monday, chop, chop, Tuesday, chop, chop, Wednesday, chop. Then we came in on Wednesday and then pretty much like we pushed up, then we throw this big wick. And yeah, overall we followed through to the upside, but it was not very easy to actually track it. So there it is. This got respected. Right now we pushed up there. That is a daily break right there. So that is our daily low. And honestly, like if I have an actual look at it, like I'm just going to keep this daily imbalance right there just for reference. But we pushed up. We did make a little pullback, then we throw this big wick that kind of took out the high, took out the low, so we cannot really take it. And then we had this kind of break right there on the FOH. That is a not very nice, so I wouldn't really take this one as a break because again, I do take every wick as a break. However, for some time right now, I started observing how they actually like break. Do they clearly like push above a level? Do they just wick and then followed by a very big bearish engulfing candle in this case? Because what this kind of break suggests to me is that this can potentially be liquidity. Because if this low really failed to nicely push above, close above, and continue above, then it's most likely weak. So currently, this is the kind of situation we are at, right? So if we just solely focus on structure and every wick is a break, there is the higher low formation, the market pulled back and is reacting from it right now. So I see potential to situations, maybe this one is gonna hold and maybe we head for the high. And as we take this weekly high, that is when, guys, we really have to start observing what is gonna happen. Because again, such a high hasn't been taken in a while. I mean, we took out this high right there and the market did make a little bit of a consolidation. It did make a little bit of a pullback to fill that daily imbalance, right? And then it straight away continued to push up. But if we take this big macro one, then I'm very curious what is gonna happen. Also, the Fed did not hike the rates, but they did say that they could potentially continue hiking it. So they paused it for this month, which was met with a bullish expectation, but that is probably because of the comment that they're going to keep hiking it. All right. And again, inflation is not tamed. I listened to a couple of videos and articles that actually the true inflation comes from like housing prices. Because if you remove the more volatile goods like food and like electricity, right? Or if you just measure them, they're not that bad, right? So again, it's like 50-50. They paused it for a reason, but they do think that they might hike it. So again, mixed expectations right now, but we can see that the market is overall reacting bullish. But it's really important to see what is going to happen as we take this weekly high, because then sellers could come in and then actually pausing the rate, because that is usually bearish. If you do not hike the rate, then the market usually goes bearish, right? But I do think we're currently seeking this liquidity, and then from there, it's going to be important to see what is going to happen. The second situation is we make a trend change to the downside, we fill in the daily imbalance, we pull back a little bit deeper right there, and then we again make a trend change to the upside, and then we target this high. So those are the two examples that I'm expecting on the Dixie. Let's see how they're going to play out. And of course, guys, we have to wait for Monday to come in, adapt to the markets, and of course, stay tuned for Tuesday. All right, let's have a look at Euro USD on the weekly time frame. Again, since last week, we have taken this low right there and actually rejected. And you can see this week we are coming in again, and if I manage to take this low right there, we can see that we're still wicking below it, but we failed to close below it, right? And I see a very big divergence between EU and the Dixie. Like you can see the Dixie took out that weekly high and it's actually headed for the second one, right? So if I actually do this, right, EU is still exactly right there and it's still wicking below this first low, right? There it is. So there is the first low. There is a second low. So the DXY is already traveling towards this one, about to take it. EU is still the first one. So again, that tells us that the euro is kind of overall strong, right? The Dixie is also strong because it keeps pushing it, but EU is not that weak in order to continue pushing down. Okay, so this is why we're having this little bit of a consolidative behavior right there. There are no clear bearish candle. There are no clear bullish candles as well, right? Guys, there is constructions happening on top of me, so bear with me. I might have to do some edits. So dropping onto the daily time frame, this is what we had last week. So we have this lower high, we have this lower low. The market beautifully pulled back on Wednesday, and then it just simply went down and attacked the week low. So that is absolutely textbook scenario right there developing. However, there were, of course, a couple of trades. There definitely were, but I did expect the market to flush from here. So I didn't focus on longs, which is I don't want to say it's a mistake because I just simply listened to my understanding of liquidity. But also I did learn an important lesson, is that when you have like that pure imbalance right there, the market tends not to just tap and go. Usually, once again, the market needs true liquidity, which in my opinion, again, I'm no expert, or don't listen to me, right? There are tons of sources on it, but I do think the real liquidity is within highs and lows, right? Because that is where potentially people's stop losses are. That is where the orders are, right? So this imbalance, it's actually having a lack of orders. So it's coming in to fill it, but that doesn't mean it's a grab of liquidity in order to fuel the next move, right? Usually after liquidity is grabbed, then of course the market could pull back to fill imbalance, then continue. That is a different scenario. But if you're looking for a reversal, like I was in this case, I thought that filling in this imbalance will actually cause the market to react immediately. So I did not take longs on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. So 2 missed opportunities for me. But now we have this daily break, which is also a 4-hourly break. So currently that is our high, but again, very nice to see how EU played out perfectly. That was our 4-hourly supply, imbalance, all filled, tapped inside the zone, and then we just dropped. So right now, there is our new range from the low to the high, and the market is doing some funky stuff right there. We did actually come in to wick the low for a little bit, reacted, but didn't do anything. So I'm just gonna stay in the same range. High, so we can actually make it like this, high to low. There is once again that imbalance right there to be filled, which we're kind of trying to tap inside. But again, I really do think in order for the market to drop, it might want to take a couple of more highs, maybe even get in a little bit deeper and then potentially flush. So of course, similar to the Dixie, we might head straight for the lows. Then of course we have to follow the new structure, or we can push up. I really hope the week opens bullish, comes in, takes liquidity, 50% imbalance filled, and then from there we can start dropping to the lower time frames and look for reversals, or wait for the market to pull us back a little bit deeper inside the zone, similar to what happened right there. All right, on the 50 minutes, you can see right now it's pure nonsense, but pretty much the trades that I missed, that of course some of my community members took because we actually called them, was the first one was this long right there, and the second one was this long. So all my members took this one right there because that was actually pretty good. Took out Asian low, wicked nicely below it, very nice push up, nice clear strong break of structure, pulls back, and actually there was a 1-minute setup right there. And then what they target is of course like deeper imbalance, and of course like the 4-hourly supply right there. So that was a pretty good trade right there, and pretty much I didn't trade EU this week, but those are the 2 trades that I observed, but I did not take. Why? Well, because here I thought like even that this one was enough. No, I think I was looking for this one, but there was no entry. Yeah, I do think I was looking for a long trade. There was a 50%, but there was most likely no 1-minute entry, and most likely the stop loss was too big. Yeah, 10 pip stop loss. I don't enter with 10 pip stop loss on EU, so I was most likely looking for a deeper tap. So this one was a miss. But this one 100% had an entry because my community took it. But then I thought, okay, imbalance is filled. That could be the weekly high. That is gonna cause the market to move down. So then I didn't take any shorts on that. So that's pretty much it. I'm happy that I didn't strike on EU. It was quite choppy as well, but again, there were some opportunities. So now let's see if this market is going to continue with its bearish sentiment. I'm bearish, definitely. Those are the 2 scenarios. Let's see how they play out. And of course, guys, flow with the markets. Well, Euro-Yen, same old story. I'm not going to lose time on this one. Again, still bullish on the weekly time frame, weekly low, weekly high, and we have been in a very big range right there. Again, you can see like the last 3 weeks are just nonsense. So dropping onto the daily time frame, let's of course break it down again. We have this daily structure break to the upside, and then we have this daily trend change to the downside that didn't happen very nicely with a wick, and then you can see immediately the market comes in, attacks the opposite side, but how does it break it once again? With a wick followed by a massive bearish engulfing candle. Okay, and then technically right now, if you solely focus on this, then of course that will be your daily higher low formation, but the market tapped, reacted, it failed to cause the high. So then of course that would be weak low. But again, then if we just zoom in, we see that we are in a consolidation. Okay, so like daily time frame, you can't really analyze it right now. It's very, very, very tricky. So if we just jump on the 4H, I mean, once again, you gotta really look deep right there. And of course, like, I mean, there is the last 4-hourly structure break. What caused it? You can definitely take this one. Yes, so this is what caused it. It's not like, according to me, once again, it's not this because I have rules for it. It's pretty much this guy right there. Then the market slowly made its way, tapped inside, reacted, tapped inside, reacted, and technically right now we're still bearish according to me. Between this high and this low, the market came in, pushed down, failed to cause a low. So right now I see 2 situations. the market is either gonna come in, attack this liquidity, and maybe even break the high, who knows, or it's right now pulling back to grab some liquidity and continue pushing down. So come in right there, maybe give us a short trade, or maybe even break, or react from here and flush for the full hourly low. But once again, keep in mind that we are in a very big range right there. It's been 3 weeks of a range. So again, does it make sense to trade this pair? Not at all. So again, better trade EU. All right, that's Euro yen. Bearish, of course, on the forex, but when the daily and the weekly don't make sense, then you're most likely going to get chopped around on the forex, like up and down, up and down, up and down. Are there intraday opportunities? Probably. But again, always remember from me that the highest probability opportunities come in when the higher time frames support your lower ones. And when, of course, the market is at a very good position on the higher time frames. So again, wait for the clear trend, wait for the clear direction of the market, and then strike. That is EJ. I'm more bearish, but of course, I would avoid trading this pair. The Aussies have once again proven to be tricky, namely Aussie dollar, which definitely was a very good pair, but since quite some time it became very, very choppy. Well, it's pretty much 5 weeks right now and a month. So I really do think this one should be exiting that consolidation anytime soon. But again, looking at the weekly time frame right now, there is nothing we can conclude. I mean, yes, we do have this weekly structure break right there, and we do have this weekly bearish range. The market, we could definitely expect the market to pull back to the 50%, but that is not gonna happen until we start having some clear daily structure. And the daily structure has been in this tiny range right there for, as I said, for a couple of weeks right there. So what we did, that was a daily low, we pulled back and we broke it. And again, how we broke it, we failed to close below it, right? And then we kind of wick, and then whoop, bullish engulf, came in, reacted, and came in again, reacted. And then again, you can see that the market is failing to push down from that level. And then what it ended up doing, it came in and took out that daily high, but look at how it took it again, right? It came in, whoop, swept it, closed with a big bearish candle, followed by another bearish candle. So again, that immediately tells me, all right, well, this one is not a strong break. This market is not going up, okay? And although we had this daily break up, immediately the market, whoop, came and broke it down. So it is bearish right now, but keeping in mind where it is on the weekly time frame and that it actually needs a pullback, I would say not very high confidence for taking shorts, but this is currently what we have. We have this daily high being swept, right? And maybe actually the original zone is this. I mean, maybe the powerful zone is this, because we still came in and we utilized this as structural liquidity. All right, and then we kind of chop. We had a range, manipulation of the range, and a very nice initiation to the downside. Okay, so right now the market structure is very simple on the forex, which is very good. Fairly high, fairly low, nice momentum. There is our imbalance. There's our imbalance that is just about being filled. We have the 50%. So again, is this tap enough for the market to push down? Or is the market gonna come in again and then give us the alignment and then push down? Or is it gonna flush from here and give us continuation setups? That's it. So I'm gonna say I am bearish on the Aussie. I am bearish, but I do think we could come in again. Because again, think in terms of liquidity. The market just came in, filled the imbalance. There are no highs to the left. There is this little guy right there. The market chopped around a little bit. Do you see any clear exit out of here? Not really. So I really hope the market comes in again, fills fully that imbalance, takes out this high, which is gonna be like the previous daily high. Friday high, maybe we take it on Monday and then we dump. So let's see. Aussie dollar definitely does look bearish. Let's see how it goes. Surprisingly, we have some updates on AJ. So finally it broke out that consolidation. So once again, weekly low to weekly high. Of course, your weekly low could come in even here. I mean, don't be so perfectionistic. It's pretty much the same thing. But then, of course, if you drop to the daily time frame, the daily time frame is from here, and this was pretty much the daily range. So daily low all the way to daily high, and again, we have been pulling back for 95 days right now. But again, the main thing here was that the 4-hourly time frame was stuck in that range for a very long time. So we came in on the forex, we caused the 4-hourly structure break, and then since then we have been internal. Okay, yes, the market was bullish overall, and that was the week high. And we finally came in and took it. So we came in, we took it out, and then we immediately aligned bearish right now, and we formed this 4-hourly supply zone right there, and that is our 4-hourly range. And there is the last imbalance that is actually filled. So coming in from Aussie dollar, which aligned bearish after taking this daily high, Well, AJ also did take this very big volatile high that we have been stuck for an eternity inside this range. So is it time we maybe start observing the Aussies, and namely Aussie JPY? Maybe. So I hope it just doesn't return back and start chopping around inside that big range again. But if you have been trading AJ, or if you're looking to trade AJ, I do believe right now it is a good idea to start getting back at it, because we just took out this liquidity on the 4H and we did make a new volatile range, right? So then that is the volatile low that caused the break. Then of course we have a new trend change to the downside, to retest lower high. Let's see if it's gonna hold, or maybe it continues to go up. Again, flow with the markets. But I'm gonna say short bias for now, just solely basing it on structure. It is bearish. Aussie dollar is also bearish, so let's see if we can have a bearish week on the Aussies, or maybe they surprise us with a bullish one. Who knows? But bearish for now. Talk to you on Tuesday to see how it goes. Not much of a progress on the NZD. So NZD/USD, once again we have this weekly high to weekly low, and we did have a little bit of a pullback candle right there that caused it looks like a weekly break. And right now it looks like it's pulling back also into weekly supply, but again, I wouldn't really take this one as a weekly structure. I would definitely prefer to stay within this high to this low on the weekly. But very important is on the daily. So if you jump on the daily, this is definitely a daily break, right? The market pullback, tap, tap again, react, tap again, react, tap again. So is it gonna react, or is it gonna break up? Well, again, as I told you, it was on a different pair. Was it EJ or AU? I don't remember, but there was, of course, a pair that I showed you, like, for example, the market breaks structure, takes liquidity, and then it starts retesting the supply, right? And you can just see that it doesn't go down. Like 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5 taps, and all the sell orders are most likely running out. But of course, I have a very big zone. If I just make this little thing right there, the market has tapped it twice. So again, it's still bearish on the daily. Let's see, of course, how the volatile time frame looks like. Again, the volatile time frame is exactly the same range. No, it's actually not right now, because this right there was a valid volatile range that caused a break right there. And then technically we had, yes, this one is valid as well. We had a volatile breakdown. And then what we have is a volatile kind of a breakup, but it does look like a liquidity grab. So I would much prefer the Aussies, honestly. Much prefer the Aussie dollar in this case. But this is how NZD/USD looks like right now. It really depends if you take this one as a break, or you still consider it like a liquidity grab. Personally, as I told you, I take every week as a break, but I observe how they happen. Again, this one, I don't like it. It definitely does look bearish, and keeping in mind that we're tapping inside this very nice big daily demand zone, right? I do think we can get in some shorts. So once again, if you just solely focus on structure, there could be a long coming in right there. Maybe the NZD decides to reverse and go higher. But if you want to stick to with that overall short bias, right, you can just start looking on the 50-minute time frame. And if the 50-minute time frame provides you intraday opportunities, then of course you can jump on a short train right there. So this is what I think. There is also a lot of liquidity right there. There's a very big trend line going on right there. Again, I hate trend lines, because again, you can see you can draw a trend line like that, gets broken, then this and this. Like, what is the right way to draw a trend line? But there is a lot of very big flat lows right there that could all get collected. So again, I'm going to be open-minded on NU. I'm going to also consider shorts, but I'm also going to consider longs, keeping in mind that the market has failed to push down for quite some time, but maybe it tapped this zone right now, took this as liquidity, reacted sharply, then it came and took that high, which is very strange, but still it could go down. So again, 50-50 on this one, but I would say I am more on the short side rather than on the long. So again, if you manage to get shorts on this pair, definitely go for it. Similar to Aussie JPY, NZD JPY is also breaking that eternal day, in this case, it is also a daily high. So again, that's the daily low, that's the daily high that caused it. It is also a volatile one. So again, if I just jump on the 4H, volatile low, volatile high, eternity of a consolidation, and we finally came in, we took it. Now, difference is, as I told you, the NZD looks a little bit stronger. Like, if you remember, Aussie JPY made a very big trend change down, and it's currently bearish. Well, NZD JPY, oops, that's UJ. NZD JPY has no bearish break at all. It just massively pumped up, right? Also, Aussie dollar is looking quite bearish, but NZD dollar, it kind of caused this volatile break right there again, if you have been following the analysis so far. So what I see is that the NZDs are a little bit stronger. So again, right now I have no setup to actually short NZD-JPY, because that is the higher low, that is the higher high, that is the folly range. We have very big imbalance to be filling in right there. We have one at the 50%, and of course we have one below it. So again, which one is going to get filled? Again, I usually look for the one around the 50%, but if it goes deeper, I'm fine with that. Okay, imbalance once again is not a liquidity gap according to me, and it's not something that you should use even as a point of interest to be looking for a reversal. Okay, so again, looking just technically, and if I'm very systematic, well, yes, there is a folly breakup. So if I wait for the pullback, and then if I have like a lower time frame alignment, I would be looking for longs, right? Again, we took out this massive liquidity. We took out also this high right there as liquidity. So a lot of liquidity is collected. So I would definitely expect a pullback. But the question is, are we gonna reverse, or are we gonna continue going higher? Okay, so that is the question for NJ. Let's of course see how it goes, but I do think the JPYs are starting to pick in some steam. So let's see how they go in the future. Now, with that being said, let's have a look at UJ, which could offer us some clues about where the JPYs are going. Well, USD-JPY, because the dollar is very strong, this one just keeps going up. Again, if we think in terms of liquidity, what is it seeking? Well, is it seeking this high? Well, that high is quite far away, right? That is 152, and right now we're 148. So that is, what is it, 300 or 3,000 pips? I'm not sure, right? But it is a lot. So is it gonna start any pullback anytime soon? Is it gonna keep pushing up? Again, we don't know. It's in a very tricky position right now, because again, hard highs are always tricky. Because again, here, that was a hard high, that was a hard high, this was a hard high, that was a hard high, and the market just keeps going until, of course, something happens and the market decides to flush. Okay, so we don't know the top. How do we know the top? The top is when we have some sort of a trend change, or when the daily or the forward time frame starts trending down. Okay. And right now on the daily time frame, we are just simply bullish. We pull back right there, filling the imbalance. That is, of course, a couple of weeks ago. And we then made this daily break right there. And yeah, this one is tricky, because you can also take this one right there as a daily break. And then there is that wick. And then this is kind of a break. So this one gets a little bit tricky. So I would prefer to stay within this daily range. Okay, and you can see actually the market printed that big bearish candle on Thursday, and then Friday is like immediately reversing and potentially about to be taking the high. So to me, it looks very bullish, but a little bit hard to read on the daily and even on the Forex right now. I mean, on the Forex, what the market did, it chop around, took out the high here, then took out the low here, but again, spot how it took it with a wick, and then immediately started rocking up. So right now, is it going to be making a forward trend change up, or is it going to be responding from the supply? Well, I could bet it's most likely going to take the forward high right now, because we saw it from the daily. Massive bearish candle, then just whoop, all of a sudden a very big bullish candle. That is an inside bar. So when you have an inside bar, usually the market is either going to attack the high or the low. How do you know which side? Well, usually higher time frames, and higher time frames are bullish. So this is why like we had that breakout on AJ and we had that breakout on NJ, because overall the USD-JPY is very strong. And as we started getting some strength, maybe like on the Aussie, maybe some strength on the NZD, they all popped up. But of course, let's see how that's gonna go. I mean, it's bearish right now on the folly range, but it's overall bullish on the daily time frame. That could definitely be a liquidity grab for the market to go up. So of course, if it breaks up, then you have to see how you can follow it. If it breaks up, then you have to see if it's going to cause an immediate reversal and then maybe initiate a pullback. Again, UJ is a wild pair. Very hard to get in. This is why I don't trade it, because it doesn't respond very well to structure. It trades good with liquidity, as far as I can observe, but I like to be trading more with structure and of course use liquidity as confluence. So if you're trading solely liquidity, like, I mean, you can just, the market took out a high, short it. The market took out a low, long it, right? The market here took out that massive low, long it, right? The market took out a high, short it. Like, I see this pair works like this, but I don't prefer this way, because again, I like structure, and there are other pairs that work amazing with structure. So that is UJ. Let's see how it's going to respond from this supply. Is it going to break it? Is it going to hold it? I do think it's going to break it. And then of course the key question comes in, what happens after? So of course you have to flow with the markets, but let's see what's going to happen. A lot of news this week on Pound USD, and we can see the weekly candle. Like, those are the candles we want to see, right? Look at that. So bearish, little pullback, bearish, bearish, bearish. It just continues to offload that steam. And this week on GU, we took a lot of lows. We did break a lot of lows. Like there is the most recent one. And of course, if I jump on the daily time frame, it keeps breaking lows. There was one that I marked right here that was broken immediately. And pretty much the next one is right there that we're heading towards. So that is my next liquidity target. Now, the question is, are we just going to straight go for that liquidity target, or are we going to be initiating a pullback? Well, if we have a look on the daily time frame, it is very expansive to the downside. There is a little bit of a daily break right there. I mean, are those equals? Yeah, they're not equals by 1 pipette. So we could probably take this one as a daily supply. And yes, I mean, look at that. 1, 2, 3 days, massive continuations down. So very nice, very nice, very nice. It was a little bit tricky in the early days. So Monday, chops, chops, chops. Tuesday, chops, chops, chops. Then the news come in, like Wednesday, wicks down, wicks back up. And then we just massively expanded to the downside. So currently the hourly range is a bit tricky because we have like this low, the market clearly pulled back. And now right now we're breaking this low with a wick. We broke it with a wick, which technically makes this our hourly supply. But then the market, as it broke it twice with a wick, it gave a little bit of a pullback. So if you draw a bigger zone, then technically that was retested. And right now it looks like it wants to break again, but that doesn't make this a valid lower high according to me. So what I can just simply do is I can minimize this zone, and I'm going to keep it to here, taking this kind of internal retest right there. And I'm going to say that this is my hourly range. Now, GU, as tricky as it is right now, it's also very tricky because it's very low on the daily. It's taken a lot of liquidity on the daily, and there is a pullback coming soon. But the lower you think the market is, the lower it goes. So once again, keep flowing with the market, keep following the valid ranges until you're wrong. Okay, so I keep shorting this pair until I'm wrong, but of course, let's see how it's gonna play out. I mean, right now on the 50-minute, Friday was very choppy. It kind of came in, then it came down, taking liquidity up, taking liquidity down. So I really need to see this one on Monday, what it's gonna do on Monday, and then potentially see what we can do for the rest of the week. So I'm not gonna be throwing any forecasts. I'm just gonna say it's bearish, but again, it's at a lower low, taking out the low right there. So it's gonna continue going down. Right? Is it gonna initiate a pullback, jump above the 50%, maybe tap here and then get a short? I don't know, right? It's hard to forecast, so I just leave it as it is. Bearish, that's the daily high, that's the daily low. So if the hourly time frame shifts up, then you can of course expect a 50% on the daily time frame, which is gonna be good. And there is like that imbalance right there that could definitely get filled on the daily. But of course, we first need that hourly reversal. So let's see, but so far bearish, so keep shorting it. 2 trades I took, well, not 2, I took a lot and I did make some mistakes. So again, I traded on the worst days of all, but luckily I did trade with low risk last week and this week. So the first trade I took was on Tuesday and on Monday. No, yeah, this is on Monday. So I took a loss and a break even on this one. So what the market did, it took out the daily low right there, it took out the Asian low, and then it just whooped, massively aligned bullish. And then why I was looking to long this beautifully short pair, I don't know. I was probably looking for this. Yeah, I was looking for that liquidity high to be taken, which never got taken. Look at that, never got taken. But yeah, so once again, the market followed 30-minute low, 30-minute high, also a 50-minute low to 50-minute high, which was a lot of confidence for me to be executing trades. So the first trade was a little bit rushed in. That was the first retest of the zone. It gave a very quick trend change on the 1 minute. So I took it from here, whoop, quick stop loss. Then of course I saw that, okay, the market doesn't want to play. It wants to take more liquidity. It came in here and formed equals. So why would you take a long right there when you have these equals? And the market came in, took the equals, aligned bullish on the 5 minute, came back for a retest. I waited for a little bit more confirmation right there. So if I took a trade here, I would have definitely made it because there was a 1 minute setup within right there. And then, of course, if you have a much better stop loss, I mean, even if you have a 5-pip stop loss or something, I mean, you make your 30-hour in this move. But I waited a little bit too much. Then after I saw this commitment to the upside, the market pulled back. And here I was looking for a 1 minute alignment. No, I thought I'm looking on the 5 minute. I'm actually on the 1 minute. So yeah, here after that 5 minute break, I mean, there was a 1 minute alignment exactly here. So I was looking to take this trade from there with a stop loss below, which is 5 pips. And of course, you would have definitely made the TP. But then the market pushed up, pulled back, misaligned bearish, aligned back bullish, and I didn't get a very good entry. So that is my second trade, a 10 pip stop loss. So if I waited a little bit more, I would have definitely made it, but this is where I took it. Again, full honesty, you can see my MT4 stats. And with this stop loss I had, I reached a 2R, so I didn't take any profits. And of course, if I waited just a little bit less, there is the 3R. So again, stop loss really matters, but I was looking for this higher or 3R, and I got stopped out at break even right there. So those are my two trades, stop loss and a loss. Then the next day comes in and we're trading in exactly the same area. So if I just place the replay to, and there it is. So again, if you remember, like there is the 50-minute low, there's the 50-minute high, and the market just stayed inside this range. So again, this one was very big liquidity right there. That is the daily low right there. And I thought that one is gonna take it, but I rushed in a trade before that was done. Okay, so if I just go on the 1 minute right now to show you all the details right there. So that was a mad day right there. Look at all those trades. And I still mismanagement, so very angry at myself. Now the first trade was taken a little bit early, that is Frankfurt open. So why would I do this? I don't know, rushing to take a trade. Luckily, once again, trading with half risk. Took the trade, got the stop loss, and that little wick right there is what actually caused that daily break. And then I immediately saw the reaction and there was a 5-minute alignment. So then my next trade was taken from here with a stop loss below the sweep. Okay, then the market gave me a 1-minute alignment, right? And then I took a second trade right there with again a safe stop loss below the low that caused that, like that sweep, which should be a protected low because a sweep, a liquidity grab does not get liquidity grab. And then the market made a 15-minute alignment and your boy makes the terrible mistake to reduce his stop loss below the most recent 50-minute low, because again, that was a 50-minute structure low, 50-minute low, 50-minute high. I thought this one is not gonna get taken. Oh wow, just came in, whoop, swept me out of the trade, right? So that was pretty much half loss once again, because I took half here, so that is a full risk trade. But then of course with the minimized stop loss, I get again the half loss, right? Then the market aligns bullish again, and I do not take a trade from here. Although there was a trade from here, I did not take it, and that was the winner. So I was really pissed on that day, because if only I kept this one, of course, that is a 3R. If I only kept this one, that is a 4R, so I make 7R. And if maybe I was in those trades and I was confident I took a third trade like this, then that would have been, once again, very big R on that day. But again, in the live markets, why I did reduce my stop loss, I don't know, but I promised myself I'm never gonna be micromanaging my trades anymore. It's either a TP or a stop loss, or when the market comes all the way up to the TP, then of course you can manage to break even, because it doesn't make sense to go from a 3R to a -1. But again here, technically half loss here and half loss there, so one full loss, because again I was trading with half risk this week. But then the market came in, actually went to the target, so it actually made the move that I expected it to make. So I wanted to catch this move and I didn't catch. So still looking at it, very angry. But then of course we had a 50-minute trend change down. That's the lower high that caused it. The market came back to retest, broke lower, came back to retest again. I just took one trade and luckily that gave me a 3R. So there it is. The market comes in right there, 1-minute alignment, took the trade from here, stop loss above, rushed down, didn't reach TP, then it came back. So once again, from the morning, I promised myself, you are not gonna micromanage your trades. So again, if I did go break even right there, whoop, stop loss would break here and then the market goes. So once again, guys, if you can, don't micromanage your trades. And I took my trade at 3.22R, which again covered my 2 losses from here. So covered my 2 half losses, right? And gave me 1 half more. So again, I was on profit on that day. And yeah, this is my GU journey. There were some other trades, but it was getting very tricky. I didn't trade on Thursday because I wasn't home. Friday was absolute mess. And yeah, this was pretty much, yeah. And on Wednesday, we had the news. So I didn't trade on Wednesday. That's pretty much it. So pretty much plus 1 hour on GU. Happy with it. But of course, I could have been much, much, much better if only I didn't micromanage my trade. So take my lesson and apply it to your own trading. Let's have a look at GJ. So with the weakness with the pound, as we saw on GU, this one is also flushing down. So it's pulling back into its overall weekly range. So there is like the weekly low, which is a very big wick right there. And it's pulling back towards it. And if you just draw a very simple 50%, we can see that we finally tapped the 50%. But most likely the daily time frame is rather bearish. break the high, break the low, lower low, lower low, lower low. So there is the last break on the daily. And then of course the question is, what is our daily high? I would personally, okay, this one is tricky because you can actually take three highs. You can take this, you can take this, or you can even take this. Oh, okay, this one is tough. But yeah, no, it's not this guy, because here you can see you have a daily break by itself. So there is the lower high, lower low, the market retested this. So yeah, I mean, you choose. You can either take this guy from here, or you can take it this guy from there. It doesn't make a whole of a difference. But again, we're tapping inside that weekly supply, and what would demand, and what we have within this demand is liquidity right there. So this is potentially where we could be expecting the market to go. Okay. So then dropping on the forward time frame, it's most likely bearish. So let's see how the forward time frame looks like. Very, very, very big chop right there. Wick down, wick up, chop, chop, and then we just massively shaded it outside of it. And yes, the forward range is this one. So again, you can keep the daily range, but you can also focus just on the forward range. That is the forwardly lower high. So the market already pulled back above the 50% on the forward. So again, it's just a big question right now. Is it gonna flush from here? Or is it going to pull us back, take out this high as liquidity, and then maybe give us a short trade? So again, we don't know. The market is currently kind of in the middle. It can do a lot of stuff. So again, don't try to forecast. Just wait for the market to open, wait for the price to show you what it wants to do, and then you react to it. Okay, so that's my plan on GJ. Nothing more to say about it. It's bearish. It's pulling back into like a weekly zone. This is most likely liquidity that is to be taken, so I'm going to be waiting patiently for it. But again, short bias right now. How do we get in is the question. Do we just straight jump into shorts, or do we wait for a pullback? Let's see. Let's have a look at gold. Not much of a development. So on the weekly candle, it's a doji overall, wick up, wick down, closed with a bullish body, but doesn't tell us a lot. So once again, on the weekly time frame, this is really where the push started. So this is where eventually I want to see price tap this demand zone right there. And right now the market is overall, if you just look at structure, there was a weekly break, then a weekly breakdown, then a weekly breakdown, and then the last weekly breakdown is right there. So let's actually make it a weekly breakdown. And we came back to retest that weekly supply. We reacted from it. We failed to push lower, and right now we're coming back to retest. So that could be potential liquidity, but we really have to see, okay, what is happening on the daily. Now the daily time frame is also very tricky. Like that, according to me, was a daily lower high. The market came in, took it right there. But how did it take it? With a wick. Then if that is the daily high low that caused the break, then that's the one. What it did, came in, whoop, swept it. How did it break it once again? With a wick and a bullish candle, followed by like with a morning star formation, right? What it does immediately, it comes in and whoop, creates a daily break, which is rather strong. Okay, so this is currently where we are at, and we can draw like this demand zone on the daily time frame. We can take the PD range, we're below, and we filled imbalance. So I kind of see a little bit of a long sentiment right there, but again, I'm not 100% on it. The only reason that I would actually long this pair is because of this weekly high that is most likely weak. Because if that high failed to just straight on and break this low, then it usually becomes liquidity. Okay, and as I see right now, the daily wick the high, the daily wick the low, and then it aligned very nicely from here. There is imbalance, there is a nice body break, the market stayed above it. I do think we could potentially expect a scenario like this. Tap inside, and then from there, get the short. But of course, gold is very closely related to the US dollar, and if the US dollar actually starts going short anytime soon, then of course gold could start reckoning. So again, always look on the both sides. Now, of course, on the forward time frame, it's gonna be tricky because yeah, we aligned bullish. We were bullish, bullish, bullish here, high. This was an internal range right there, and then yeah, we broke up, we pulled back, we broke up, we pulled back, then massive breakup, then a massive breakdown. And again, the tricky thing about the forward right now is that it's bearish. So there is the forward high. Whoop, the market reverses, and currently that is our forwardly lower high supply. So it's stuck between the daily and the forwardly. So which one is gonna win? Usually the higher time frame is gonna win, but the higher time frame is bearish on the weekly. So is this weekly high really weak? Again, we don't know, because maybe the market just pulled back to grab a little bit of liquidity and maybe just to retest this zone right there. And right now it's gonna fall. So I mean, guys, again, you are the gold masters. I'm just sharing my view on it. I don't pretend to know what's happening on gold, but two scenarios I see. We either go up, take out this high, and then potentially reverse from lower, or we actually go short from here, because the 40 time frame aligned. I really do like this manipulation right there. Very nice bullish candle tapping inside this overall zone, and you can see that if you take this zone, it was already tapped, half of it, but then if you take this tap outside of the equation and just do like this, the market perfectly came in to sweep this high right there to take liquidity, and then it reacted. So I also do see that there is a lot of bearishness on this pair, so I wouldn't really listen to the daily that much, and just keep following with the most recent sentiment, which is usually shown on the 4H. Okay, so I'm gonna say I am more bearish than I am bullish, but of course, guys, flow with the markets, and if you start seeing bullish signals, then know that there is a chance that the market could take this liquidity high. But if there is not, then of course this one could potentially go, but of course the first one that is gonna go is the 4-hourly low. So of course, let's see, and let me know in the comments what is your bias on gold and what do you expect to happen. Golden time for the indices right now. We are reversing, which is really good to see. So let's see what is happening. Weekly time frame on US30. We have this weekly low to the weekly high, and as I said, this low is weak. Why? Because it failed to push up and close a new higher high, and we just took it and we closed with a massive bearish engulfing right there. So the big question right now is, after taking this liquidity, so this actually market as liquidity swept, and maybe remove this one. As we took this one, are we gonna start reversing and attack the opposite side, or are we gonna be making a weekly structure breakdown? So then we can potentially push us back from this high, like let's say around 10% or something, right? And maybe even take out this low all the way down here. So that is what we're dealing with right now, and it's very interesting. Now, dropping onto the daily time frame, the daily time frame also aligns bearish right now, because if you remember, we have this daily break right here, daily break, lower low, but then here we also have this daily breakdown, daily break up, the market pulls back, it tries to push, it fails. So that was potentially weak, and I did expect this one to get taken and then to see whether the market is going to respond, but this one just got taken, and not only got taken, but it just got broken everything, right? So currently we have a daily break of structure. So I'm just going to move the liquidity gap right there. We have a daily break of structure, and let me just, okay, what is this right there? I don't know. Trade. Oh, that is not my previous trade. I'm not sure. So currently that is our daily lower high, and that is our daily range. There is a little bit of imbalance that formed just right now, so we can expect that to get filled. All right. But yes, right now, as we have this daily bearish alignment, I do think the weekly low could go. So that is pretty much my next liquidity target right there. I'm going to be getting bearish on the indices, and I'm going to start preparing for buying some stocks as well, because they are definitely declining, some of them. Now, in terms of the 4H, not tricky. Like, this one was the trickiest index of them all, and I was just joking to to my team that the US30 is the new Euro USD, because again, Euro USD is the most traded pair of all, and it's getting crappier and crappier. But US30 is also getting very famous right now, and it's also getting a little bit crappier. So we were staying within this demand zone, and I was telling you that is the decision point. What is gonna happen? Well, the market broke it, and then I tried to short the market from here, but it wicked me out, and then it reversed. So again, pure manipulation, and then yes, right now it's just massively flushing lower. There is a very good development here, is that we have a 4-hourly break of structure all the way down here. And technically right now, like, we have some sort of a supply within there. So if we create a bullish trend change, then we can expect that daily pullback. And then as that daily pullback happens, we can of course expect the bearish trend change and for the market to continue going down. Okay, so I'm definitely bearish on the indices, but all of them are going to be at lower lows. And when of course the market is at lower lows, you can expect pullbacks, you can expect continuations, you don't know. But again, what I'm just gonna say is flow with it. And of course, if you see shorts, shorts is the bias towards that low right there. But of course, let's see, the market could open, reverse on the 4H, but again, that then is gonna be a daily pullback, because keep in mind, that is your daily. So potentially we have imbalance right there that is to be filled, that is above the daily, that is actually the daily imbalance that is there. So there is a lot of stuff to be filled. So of course, stay tuned for that. Now, the trade I took on US30 should be this. Exactly, I told you, like, again, the market aligned bearish. I thought, oh, it's gonna flush, but again, I just got manipulated, and the trade is very, very, very simple. So that was the 4-hourly supply zone. We had a 5-minute and a 15-minute alignment from the supply zone, and I just waited for the market to pull back, give me a little bit of a confirmation in the form like of a rejection candle. So took it from there, and it was a whoop, immediate stop loss. So that was US30. That's my only trade on US30. But luckily on that day, Nasdaq saved the game. So that's pretty good. Now, again, that's US30, bearish bias. I would start expecting a daily pullback as well because we just took out the daily low, but of course the market could continue flushing lower. So again, don't exclude the possibility of just following the flow and following the bearishness. Let's have a look at Nasdaq. So once again, on the weekly time frame, this one was a little bit tricky, but I really do believe that this one is a weekly break. And then of course the weekly breakdown happened right there. So let me actually make it with a W. So I don't want to make a W on my chart because I don't really look at the weekly time frame at all as I'm intraday trading. So there is a weekly break, and then of course that is the weekly supply zone. The market perfectly came inside the weekly supply zone, the weekly lower high, reacted, and right now we're headed for a brand new weekly break, which of course I'm gonna mark as the next liquidity area. Dropping onto the daily time frame, well, daily time frame was bullish at a time. So again, in order for the market to reach for a weekly pullback, it has to align bullish on the daily. So the daily time frame aligned bullish here. Then it also made another daily structure break right there. And yeah, the trick was that this was the daily low and that was the daily high. So we're technically bullish on the daily, but when you're bearish on the weekly, right, and you expect potentially for the weekly time frame to go, then of course you know that yeah, the daily was bullish, but the market eventually went down. And yes, right now we have a brand new daily break. So of course that is going to be our daily lower high formation right there. Our daily range, there is a lot of imbalance to be filled right now. So again, is the market gonna start a pullback immediately, or is it first going to take that weekly low and then initiate a pullback? Well, of course, both are possible. Now on the 4-hourly time frame, as the market came in inside this level right there, it actually shifted lower, but then again it shifted higher, and then again higher, and then again lower. It was pretty tough, but pretty much this is the last break we had. So that is pretty much talking about this week, even on Friday. So yeah, this is what we had on Friday. And as I told you, S&P and NAS were both bearish. It was only US30 that is bullish, but I did expect for it to also follow through with the others, right? So then of course we had a little bit of a chop right there early in the week, but then we had this break of structure to the downside with a very clean, nice body and exactly the same trade I took on US30, but NASDAQ paid out. And yeah, I can say right now, man, I wish I held, but I did not. So yeah, took it the liquidity to the lows, and right now the 4-hourly range is still this. The 4-hourly range is still from here to all the way down there. So again, the question is right now, are we gonna make a new 4-hourly structure break, right? And then either continue flowing with the market to the downside or maybe create a trend change up. But looking at how close it is to this liquidity low, I do think we can take like a couple of shorts towards it and then from there start looking for that daily pullback, okay? Because right now we're going from a weekly supply, from a weekly zone to a weekly zone. So I would definitely trust in the weekly and say that we can definitely expect this low to be taken right there. So again, I would say this scenario right there is more likely. So break of structure, pullback, retest into the new lower high, and then potentially short it to the weekly supply. But of course, if the market breaks lower and starts to align bullish or doing some other funky stuff, then of course, we're going to flow with it, okay? And yeah, pretty much to very quickly show you my trade that saved my day. That was on the Nasdaq, but it was during the CPI. So again, we don't want to hold this one, but turned out into a very big trade. So yeah, we came in again, same zone, same everything. We had a 50-minute trend change, and then of course the market came in on the 1 minute. Market came in on the 1 minute right there, but it was not aligned. And I waited for it to align on the retest right there. Took it, quite good stop loss. And yeah, I mean, it was CPI, so I didn't want to wait for it. So I just took my 2.9R right there, maybe 3, maybe I'm not sure, because I went outside of home, so I closed it from the phone. I just had an alert as the market was breaking these lows, but my target was the Asian low right there. So again, I could have held for 3.6, I think it was. Yeah, 3.6 something, but I just took it, was happy. US30 loss was covered, and I did actually make, because with indices, the lot sizes are different. It kind of pays you a little bit more. So I actually did make a little bit on top, and that is the trade that kind of not saved my week, but maybe make a little bit progress on my week. And then look at what happens. Like, yeah, I can go on right now and tell you guys I held this one all the way to the daily low. And I made 25R. God damn, right. But I made 2.9 and I'm fine with this. So that is NASDAQ, right? Bearish bias right now, really looking to see if it's going to continue down. And I'm definitely going to tell you stick to shorts because we're most likely going to hunt that weekly low. Well, same story with S&P, right? If this is a weekly low, it's getting taken right now and we're having a weekly trend change, I would say, which can definitely expose a lot of downside. So I'm definitely looking to see this one go down. And again, before I jump into the technicals, I just want to show you this, that the fear and greed index is getting into fear. So again, you can see the MA, I told you, right? I told you that it's coming in like towards the MA, and we're either gonna chop around so that the MA can come close to price, or price is gonna dump and tap the MA. So right now, if you're actually investing, right now it's a good time to start dollar cost averaging. Right now, that means if you have $1,000 to invest, you put in 200, right? Because it can go up, but it can continue going down. And the lower it goes, you keep the other 200, the other 200, the other 200. So you buy here, 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 and here, and then you have a much bigger upside potential. So I'm definitely going to be getting back to my stock investments because I haven't made a stock investments for, this year I was pretty inactive. But yeah, overall, this year, I mean, the market just climbed up. So like the last time I did some investments was, no, the market flushed down right there. And yeah, then I was buying very early in 2023. So I was buying it right there. So again, as the market pushed up, I haven't bought anything. But right now, as it starts dropping lower, it could be a good time to start buying once again. So let's see. Daily time frame, once again, this one similar to NASDAQ, caused a daily alignment. But then, of course, it comes in and caused the daily bearish alignments and a weekly bearish break. Daily lower high is right there. We have a lot of imbalance. And on this one, we did take the weekly break. So again, if you remember NASDAQ, it's headed for that kind of weekly low right there. Well, SPX kind of made this one, broke all the lows. So very, 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 very bearish on the SPX. And you can see already, as I told you on NASDAQ, right, you can wait for that structure break to the downside. Well, SPX has already made it, right? So very nice bearish pair. And I do start considering to be trading more SPX rather than US30, because remember, there was exactly the same setup right there that I took on US30 and on NASDAQ. NASDAQ gave me a TP, SPX gave a TP, only US30 did me dirty. Well, that was a nice rhyme right there. So, I mean, yeah, SPX definitely observing it more. It is a very good instrument to be trading. So right now, forwardly break of structure right there, forwardly supply zone, two situations, pullback and a short, or it aligns bullish and it starts filling some of that imbalance we have to the top right there. Because we have a lot. If I just take the daily range from the low to the high right now, well, the first one that I would look to see filled is this guy right there to the 50%. And yeah, I mean, this one right there, it's pretty much filled, right? So this is the one that I want to see filled before we continue going down. Okay, so I would expect some bullishness, but those are going to be short term. So very bearish on all the indices, keep shorting them and also start preparing to put some money into the stock market. And now just to very quickly recap, the DXY closing towards the highs right there, but we are coming in very close to that weekly high. So is it going to get taken first before we reverse, or are we going to pull back right now a little bit to get a long? Personally, I really do think the market is seeking that high. So again, we can keep longing until that high is reached. So I'm going to say bullish Dixie, but I do expect for it to get a little bit weaker right now. Euro USD, perfectly bearish bias, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. The market is right now chopping around at the lower low. Very bad price action right there. So we either flush from here and keep following the shorts until the next liquidity target, or we wait for it to pump up, take out the liquidity, and then get a short. So overall, short bias. EJ, I would say don't trade EJ because it's in a very big consolidation. Aussie dollar looks pretty bearish. Caused the daily break, caused the daily alignment. Right now, the hourly and the daily are together bearish. So you can be looking for shorts. Similar with Aussie JPY, but keeping in mind that overall the USD JPY is bullish, I would be careful shorting this one. Okay. NZ USD looks a little bit stronger than Aussie USD, so I would much better short AU instead of NU. So again, be careful with NU, right? Because it caused this weekly break, so you have either a short or a long scenario here, and you don't want this. Unlike AJ, NJ has actually made the bullish break instead of a bearish break. So again, be careful shorting the JPYs because of UJ. UJ is still bullish, it caused this liquidity low here, and right now it's most likely gonna take the high. Now the big question is what happens after we take the high? Do we continue going up, scenario 1, or do we reverse and we initiate a bigger pullback? Because again, we're pretty high across the higher time frames. GBP USD just flushing down. This one is gonna need a little bit more time because we're just making this lower low right now, and it already kind of threw a little bit of a pullback, so I need a little bit more price in order to judge what I'm gonna do on it. GJ bearish towards that structural liquidity that is sitting inside a weekly demand zone. Gold 50-50, but I'm gonna say I am more bearish than bullish. However, if the Dixie decides to reverse, then that could definitely go a little bit bullish, so be careful with it. But so far daily is bearish, weekly is overall bearish, so I would prefer shorts rather than longs. Indices all bearish, right? US30 lower lows, but they're all bearish, but we can expect a pullback on them all because they're very low right now on the daily and on the weekly, and they're all taking liquidity. So if I get any trend changes to the upside, then of course on SPX I'm gonna ride it to the 50%. Nasdaq, if it makes a lower low, right? Nasdaq is coming in very close to weekly liquidity, so if it takes it, then of course we can look for a pullback. While US30 has taken the lows right now, and of course that is also even in for a pullback. So again, as usual, flow with the markets and stay tuned for Tuesday. Traders, let me know how you did this week. Did you finish profitable? Did you finish losing? How did you navigate within all of those news that week? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what is your biggest reflection for this week. What did you learn? And talk to you on my next video. Have a lovely weekend and a crushing week ahead of you.